takes it in overtime. Brady can jump, breakaway shoots, scores!
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host. Tomorrow, Wednesday, June 28th, is the first round of the 2023 National Hockey League Draft, so it seems pretty appropriate to make a video about what to expect from your Ottawa Senators at this year's NHL Draft. Now look, Ottawa does not have a draft pick for the first 3 rounds. Yeah, the first 3 rounds. Remember, the first round pick for this year, we gave up for Jacob Chychrun. Second and third, we're giving up for Matt Murray and Nikita Zaitsev to get them off the books. So Ottawa does not have a draft pick until the 4th round of this year's draft, which is actually insane. I don't remember a time Ottawa not having a pick in the first 3 rounds. But Pierre Dorion today met with the media, and he said some really interesting things. Look, he firstly mentioned that he does not expect a draft in the first round tomorrow. This essentially means he doesn't expect to trade Alex DeBrincat by the end of tomorrow's first round. Now, it doesn't mean Alex DeBrincat is not going to be dealt. It just means it doesn't look like he's going to be traded within the next 24 hours or so, which frankly is a good thing. Looking at what Colorado just got for Alex Newhook, for example, or what Winnipeg is getting for Pierre-Luc Dubois, personally, I would hold on to Alex DeBrincat just for a little bit more to see how much more value you can get in Alex DeBrincat. There's no reason to rush this trade process, especially since Alex DeBrincat has not even requested a trade out of Ottawa. He clearly does not mind playing another year in the nation's capital, so there's really no rush to trade Alex DeBrincat right now. Let's continue to see what these big, massive trades look like around the NHL, and that will only, and I mean only, increase the value of Alex DeBrincat. However, Pierre Dorion did mention we might get a trade here where Ottawa finds themselves in the 2nd or 3rd round. Maybe they move some picks in 2024 to get some picks for this year's draft. I don't really know what that will entail, but Pierre Dorion did mention there is a chance that Ottawa will move up to the 2nd or 3rd round to make a selection. Now, like I just mentioned, Alex DeBrincat might not be traded by tomorrow and by the end of the first round, but it's expected he will be moved soon. Pierre Dorion today said that these next few days of possible deals will dictate what we need and what we don't need when it comes to free agency. Essentially what that means is if Ottawa doesn't deal the cap before July 1st, the opening of free agency, Pierre Dorion won't be as aggressive for big names in free agency. That's personally how I'm reading it, and I think that makes a lot of sense. If you still have Alex DeBrincat by, free agency, there's no reason to bid on a guy like Tyler Bertuzzi, who is a great player, and I would love him in Ottawa, but there's multiple teams already interested in that player. He's easily the best player available in this year's free agent class, and because of that, he's going to command way too much for Ottawa, and he's probably going to get paid a little bit too much than he honestly probably should get. So because of that, if Ottawa doesn't trade Alex DeBrincat within the next few days, he probably will stay here at least through the summer into training camp. Now, this doesn't mean Ottawa won't be active in free agency if the cat sticks around. It just means they're going to be looking more at some depth type options like a Jesper Fast, Corey Perry. You get the idea. Now, Pierre Dorion also announced today that DJ Smith and the rest of the coaching staff will stick around for next season. This is a bit of a shock for me, to be honest with you, and I don't mean that in terms of DJ Smith not being fired. At this point, it's late June. July 1st is a few days away. Obviously, you're not going to fire your head coach at that point, but the fact we haven't seen any change in terms of the coaching staff is a bit shocking or jarring, to be frank with you. Ottawa has had 3-4 years in a row of disastrous starts, specifically in the first couple of months. I'm kind of shocked no one's being held accountable for that, but at the same time, the players love and respect DJ Smith. They clearly like him. They respond to him. DJ Smith, I like the guy. He's a funny guy, great character. He's built a great culture here in Ottawa, and he absolutely deserves credit for that, or a tip to the cap in terms of that. But at the same time, he hasn't gotten results. So I would expect DJ Smith to absolutely be on a bit of a shorter leash going into the next season. If Ottawa starts off very terribly again this year, and in the first 15 games they lose more than half, he's gone. He has to have a short leash, in my opinion, going into the season. I think he knows that. I think everyone around the organization knows that as well. There's no doubt, in my opinion, if Ottawa stumbles out of the gate again, there will have to be changes, and DJ Smith will likely be fired. I think the first 15 games is make or break for DJ Smith. And frankly, look, I kind of like it at the same time. I like DJ Smith. The players respect him. They respond to him. I like giving him at least one more chance. At this point, you're not going to fire him anyways. So let's see what he's got. And worst case, he doesn't work out. You fire him and you get a fresh voice in there for the remainder of the year. Honestly, once again, at this point, you're not going to fire your head coach. It doesn't make sense. So at this point, you might as well buy in, give him one more shot, and see what this team can do under his leadership. Once again, I love what he's done with the organization in terms of the culture and how he's worked with the players. I like him as a guy. Hopefully he can start getting results as a coach. Now, one last thing. Pierre Dorion today made some announcements about who Ottawa will and will not qualify. The RFAs that they will be qualifying are as follows. Of course, Shane Pinto will be qualified. Eric Brandstrom as well will be qualified. And that one's really interesting because Eric Brandstrom, look, when Bruce Garriock joined our show, he told us that Eric Brandstrom last offseason was asking for a multi-year extension. He was looking for 3-4 years at $3-4 million per year. Now, the fact they're qualifying him right now is a little bit of something to watch, in my opinion. I think we could absolutely see a 2-3 year extension here for Eric Brandstrom. If they only elect to qualify him for one more year, I think that says a lot about how they feel about Eric Brandstrom, and honestly, that would probably mean they look at him as a potential trade chip. If they're not committed to giving him a multi-year deal by now, they're never going to. So I think that's something to really watch there as well. Igor Sokolov getting a qualification as well. Jacob Bernard-Docker getting a qualification. He's expected to be a mainstay in Ottawa's defense next year on the third pairing. And Kevin Mandolese, after a fantastic year at the NHL, AHL, and ECHL level, will as well receive a qualifying offer. Now, here are the players not receiving qualifying offers. Dylan Ferguson, the goaltender, Fergalicious, the goaltender that got that massive win against Pittsburgh late in the season last year. Victor Lodin for off-ice issues, I believe, as many have rumored on Twitter. He will not be returning and will not be getting a qualifying offer. Dylan Gambrell, who was a mainstay in the NHL lineup for the last couple of years here in Ottawa, will not be receiving a qualifying offer as well. He will hit free agency. And Julien Gauthier, the biggest surprise of the bunch, will not be receiving a qualifying offer. Remember, he was acquired in that Tyler Mott trade, last trade deadline of last season. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked they didn't give him, an extension or at least a qualifying offer, pardon me. Because look, Gauthier is not a top 6 player by any means, but at the same time, he looked good in every single game he played. He actually put up some decent amount of points in his short stint with Ottawa, and he's got big size. He's a physical player with decent speed. It seems like a solid fit for your fourth line, or at least as a 13th forward. It would have been cheap as well. On a qualifying offer, would have been probably less than $1 million. Don't really understand why Julien Gauthier was not brought in, but once again, as long as Ottawa fills in the depth in free agency, I won't care as much. But if they don't, this one will leave me scratching my head just a little bit. And look, you're probably going to say in the comments, Yuri Smejkal might be why. Fair enough. He absolutely might be why Gauthier did not get this qualifying offer. But once again, that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Pierre Dorion and the Sens organization must bring in some good depth pieces in free agency this summer. Now, besides that, that's all we know right now. If there's a trade or something happens between now and the end of the draft, you will see me, of course, here on youtube.com/SensTalk. If not, I will see you in the next few days to recap the draft. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Go, Sens, go.